Hello everyone and welcome back to JJD TV. I'm your host Josh and we are coming at you with the 5 takeaways from the match we just watched between the Canadian men's national team and Japan. It finished 2-1. What a fantastic way for Canada to finish off their World Cup preparation. I have my 5 takeaways ready, so hopefully you guys are excited for it, and if you are, as always, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub, and let's get into them now. To start off with the takeaways, we're going to look at takeaway number 1, and that is Junior Hoilett. Junior Hoilett was quality all match long. Davies wasn't featuring this one, which meant that Hoilett was going to step in rocking the number 10 kit, and he was incredible. His deliveries were probably the thing that impressed me the most. The quality of set pieces he was putting in, the corners, one of them led to the opening goal that Victoria scored. He just looked fantastic. He played at left mid today, he played at right wing today, and then he even dropped back and played at right wing back. I've mentioned this a few times. He's been playing at a right wing-back role for Reading, and I was curious to see if there was a situation that was going to present itself where he could do that today, and it did. Herdman's 2 favorite systems were played. They played the match mostly in a 4-4-2, and then it kind of reverted to this 3-5-2, and Hoilett looked just as dangerous coming from the right wing-back role. Such a versatile player, and it kind of raises the question, can he find a way to start one of these matches at the World Cup with Davies and Buchanan potentially both fit and starting as well? I think he might have to sacrifice like a Kyle Larin to make it happen, but regardless, Hoilett has got such an important role to play. He looked incredible. He was the performer of the game. There was no real debate around it. And on top of that, there is an opportunity he can even shift in as Cam. So if we're going to play like a 4-2-3-1, which I know is a little unlikely, but it just shows the versatility of Junior Hoilett, who just impressed me all night long. My second takeaway, guys, is going to be not letting your heads drop. And we've seen this happen against Uruguay. I mean, Uruguay won that match 2-0. But Canada, even after going down 1-0, showed that they were still in it. They dominated possession. They tried to create things. They weren't able to do it. Kudos to Uruguay. They then went down 2-0 and did the same thing. And then today against Japan, they went down 1-0 on a bit of an iffy goal. You can maybe look at Borjan, maybe some of the marking. But regardless, early in this match, they went down 1-0. Heads did not drop. The ability just to kind of play through that, find a way to get into their rhythm was incredible. I love the mentality of this team. It goes back to the brotherhood, and they just never let themselves get down. It takes a lot of good attitude to be able to do that, to go down early in a match like that, same against Uruguay, and not give up. They never looked once that they were going to let things drop, and they didn't, and went down to the very last kick pretty much of the game where they won 2-1. So I rate that. That is going to come in handy come World Cup time. So if the pressure's there, the World Cup scene, they go down 1-0, this is a group that has been able to prove that it doesn't matter if we go down 1-0. We have the ability to look at each other, to lean on each other, and find a way to get back in the match. My third takeaway, guys, is depth. And the substitutions today were incredible. We've already proven we can do it without Davies. We did it basically during World Cup qualifying, which means that you need a little bit of depth. But not only that, with, like I mentioned, Junior Hoilett having an excellent match, the bench was incredible. Every single player that came off the bench today impacted the match. Richie Larea looked incredible, and I mentioned this on stream that there could be a debate for that left-hand side whether you start Atakubi or Larea. Atakubi, I think, is a little bit ahead of him in the pecking order, but you can see what Richie did today. The ability to just drive at players all match long, to cut onto that right foot makes him a bit of an interesting player to try to mark, because usually left backs are obviously left-footed, but Richie's got that ability to come on to the right, and on top of that, he's got that pace. Like, it's incredible. He hasn't played since decision day, but obviously he had that camp against Bahrain, so he shouldn't be in complete full fitness, but to see the explosive pace on him is fantastic. He drew the penalty as well that Cavallini put away. Richie Larea had quite the game. On top of that, Mark-Anthony Kaye had a nice bounce-back game from the Bahrain match. A lot of the chat when we watched that weren't overly impressed. I didn't mind Kaye's performance against Bahrain, but today he looked so calm on the ball, so composed, back to that LAFC version of Mark-Anthony Kaye we love so much. Joel Waterman, I saw it slid back into that back three very comfortably. I think it's worth noting that when he played in that Bahrain match, he got thrown into it last second. He played in that central center back of the back three. Seeing his time at CF Montreal, he's more comfortable on the right-hand side, and I thought he looked very comfortable shifting in with Victoria in the middle and Miller on the left. And then, of course, finally, you got to take a look at, I mean, Ismail Kone and Jonathan Zoria were doing what they did. They did look really well together. And Lucas Cavallini, I wanted to give a big shout-out to him because he looked quick today. I mean, there's a lot of really good balls that were played in from behind the back line, whether it was Johnston, Waterman, Victoria, sometimes Kaye from a deep line. And Cavallini was getting onto a lot of them, showing good fitness, good pace as well. Obviously led into that goal. The cheeky Panenka penalty, I mean, you know, like, if he missed it, he probably would have got chirped quite a bit, but he found a way to put it in. It was a nice penalty. Technique was excellent, but every substitution that came off the bench for Canada, in my opinion, had a good performance, and that's going to be crucial, I think, come World Cup time. The fourth takeaway, guys, is Tajon Buchanan. Now, Buchanan was a menace all match long with that pace, and I wanted him to kind of step up in a game like this when Davies isn't there. Usually when that happens, Buchanan is the guy. I thought Hoylett kind of staged him up, but I don't want to take an overlook at what Buchanan did today because his pace was causing problems all match long. I would have maybe liked to see him switch over to the left-hand side. Hoylett's good at deliveries. He can come in on the right. You put Buchanan on the left-hand side, little step overs, 1v1. He's the kind of guy who can shift onto his right and put in the back of the net. But I thought with that pace is going to just be incredible. When you have Davies up one wing, Buchanan up the others, he's going to be a guy that's going to be, I think, a game changer. He was doing it at times today. It wasn't the greatest performance you're ever going to see from Tajon Buchanan, but even in a match like this, he was showing that the Japanese defense was having a problem with him all match long. And guys, my fifth and final takeaway is probably the biggest takeaway. Now, Japan wasn't at full strength. I'm not going to pretend that they were, but neither was Canada. We're missing two players, and in my opinion, the two most key players of this team, Stephen Eustachio in the midfield and obviously Alphonso Davies. Missing those two players and still coming up with a performance like this, every single player put in a good shift, the bench put in a good shift, and players like Hoylett stepped up, Richie Laryea stepped up. I mean, I thought Piet even in that first half was good. Hutch looked strong. Everyone came together, and even without the two best players, Canada had an excellent showing to pick up a confidence-boosting 2-1 win over Japan. So, for me, that's the biggest takeaway. We've done it before without Davies. To do without Davies and Eustachio is a statement. It's a friendly, I know, but it's got to give that team some courage to see. Hopefully, both these players are at full fitness, but if they're not, there's still that belief there, guys. So, those are my 5 takeaways. Let me know down in the comment section if you agree with them, if there's a takeaway I potentially missed, or any other thoughts you guys had on the match. Hopefully you guys do enjoy these 5 takeaways, and as always, be sure to drop a like, drop a sub, and we'll see you guys soon. Cheers, friends.